Have you ever stepped into a truly ancient place and felt an invisible, electric current rush down your spine? We feed our physical bodies. We educate our minds. But how do we feed the soul? For centuries, hidden deep within towering Himalayan peaks like Mount Kailash and ancient shrines like Badrinath, great sages have meditated in absolute stillness. Their deep penance left behind a powerful, magnetic energy, a divine vibration that can awaken your deepest consciousness if you are truly ready to receive it. But this spiritual journey is not for the faint of heart. It is just like the ancient Sufi tale of the birds who sought the supreme divine. Thousands began the flight, soaring into the sky, but as they faced freezing mountains and breathless voids, the weak fell away. Only those who completely surrendered their ego and pride survived the journey. They flew higher and higher, until they merged into the absolute truth, realizing they were entirely one with the Creator. Are you ready to embark on this exact same journey? You don't always need to climb physical mountains to find it. The ultimate holy shrine is already within you, waiting patiently in the silent, thousand-petal depths of your own mind. Let's begin the ultimate pilgrimage.
Today's spiritual discourse is about significance of devotional visit to the holy places, that is, pilgrimages. What is the importance of visiting these holy sites? In mere words, it sounds quite simple to say that we are going on a pilgrimage, that we have just returned from one, or that we are currently on one. However, if you truly understand its depth, you will realize that we are made up of a body, a mind, and a soul. We can take our physical body anywhere, and we take good care of it, through the food we eat, the rest we take, and by providing it with various comforts. We also expand our minds through study, by going to schools, colleges, and universities, or simply by reading. But what about the soul within you? How do you take care of it? How do you expand it? Where does it draw its strength from? Perhaps you have never really thought about this. The soul is the deepest state of our being. It is our innermost self. It does not require physical food, nor does it need external, worldly knowledge. What our soul truly needs is spiritual wisdom. Just as we cannot see the fragrance of a flower but can only experience it, and just as we cannot see magnetic or electric fields but can only detect them through instruments, in that exact same way, the soul can only be experienced. Furthermore, the strength and energy that the soul receives also come through invisible pathways. In all of our holy pilgrimage sites, great sages have performed deep meditation and penance for years. In these sacred spaces, the chanting of the Lord's name and the remembrance of the divine are constant. This devotion has been going on for centuries and continues even today. Because of this, the vibrations in these places become charged with a magnetic, spiritual power, and the divine eternal melody or anhad naad constantly echoes there. If you have nurtured your soul even a little through your spiritual practice, and if your soul's inner receiver has become somewhat sensitive, only then can you truly experience the magnetic energy of these pilgrimage sites. The subtle, electrifying, and magnetic vibrations present there will then begin to profoundly influence your soul. Just as these sacred places are highly charged with a deep magnetic presence, if you spend even a short amount of time there in stillness, sitting quietly with yourself, completely free from thoughts, these powerful, magnetic energies will enter within you. They will awaken your inner receiver, causing it to resonate higher, and you will experience a profound sense of peace. However, if you visit these places merely as a tourist, you will not gain any spiritual benefit from them. It is only when you go with deep faith and devotion, having dedicated years to your own spiritual practice at home, that the bud of your soul truly begins to bloom within you. Once this spiritual bud blossoms, your inner receiver becomes highly receptive and powerful. With this heightened sensitivity, when you visit these holy places, you are able to absorb their divine vibrations and genuinely feel their transformative presence. And afterwards, when you return home, you continue to feel its presence for a long time. Whenever you sit in a state of meditation at home, that experience can gradually deepen and expand. These subtle energies exist only in such sacred places, where there is true devotion to the Lord and where His praises are constantly sung. Furthermore, these are deeply ancient spaces where great sages once came to meditate and perform penance, or where the divine manifested in ancient times. Because of this, those divine vibrations remain ever present there. Even if you are unable to go inside the main shrines of these holy places, since it can get incredibly crowded everywhere these days, if you simply remain in the vicinity with an intense, pure devotion in your heart, you can still absorb these vibrations into yourself. Philosophers in the Western world also realized this truth, both 3,000 to 4,000 years ago and even today. This spiritual magnetic field is incredibly powerful. Wherever such saints and awakened souls go, their presence deeply influences those individuals who are highly sensitive and spiritually receptive. In these spaces, such seekers can clearly feel and experience the eternal divine melody of the anhad naad resonating within. Spiritual and magnetic energies are ever present wherever there is a sacred idol of the Lord, and their profound influence radiates for quite some distance. Often, these holy places are closely connected to nature, surrounded by trees, natural water sources, or flowing rivers. If you spend even a little time in peaceful contemplation among the waters, the trees, and the ancient structures of these sacred sites, you will begin to feel a divine power awakening within you. Consider places like Kedarnath or Badrinath. In Badrinath, the sacred idol of the Lord was recovered from the river and established there by Adi Shankaracharya himself. Just imagine how ancient that idol must be, and the immense spiritual and magnetic energy it holds. If you stand before that deity for even a short while with a heart full of true devotion, it will have a deeply profound impact on you. However, if you visit merely with the mindset of a tourist, you will not be able to experience this divine presence at all. In Kedarnath, there is also the Samadhi or sacred resting place of Adi Shankaracharya. The vibrations there are so intense that you will feel their presence even if you are standing at a distance. If you have ever experienced the subtle flow of spiritual energy, like an electric current, moving through your spinal cord during your daily practice at home, you will find that the moment you stand there for even a short while, a deeply powerful current of energy will begin to flow through your spine. This is my own personal experience as well. Even the trees in that holy place hold intensely powerful vibrations. If you sit among them for just a little while with a meditative spirit, you will have a very profound experience. Similarly, whether you visit Rameshwaram, Somnath, the sacred temple of Lord Tirupati, or any other truly ancient temple, you will encounter the same depth of spiritual experience. At the Golden Temple, the continuous singing of divine hymns has been going on day and night for the past 300 years. Because of this devoted continuity, simply sitting there draws you into a state of deep meditation within mere moments. Even if you are unable to sit directly inside, sitting anywhere in the vicinity will completely captivate you and pull you into its divine influence. Similarly, at Hemkund, Guru Gobind Singh Ji performed deep spiritual practice devoted to the goddess for many years. If you journey to Hemkund and take a dip in its sacred waters, you will be blessed with a deeply profound experience. It is truly difficult to capture all of this in mere words. You may know that Mount Everest is the highest peak in the world. Compared to Everest, Mount Kailash is only 1/6 of its size, yet no one has ever been able to reach its summit. The magnetic field there is so intensely powerful that it is simply impossible to scale the mountain. It is believed that Lord Shiva resides there even today, and that Mount Kailash is the true center of the earth. The entire earth revolves around this very center. Similarly, at Hemkund, Guru Gobind Singh Ji engaged in deep spiritual practice devoted to the goddess for many years. If you journey to Hemkund and take a dip in its sacred waters, you will be blessed with a profoundly deep experience. It is truly difficult to capture all of this in mere words. As you may know, Mount Everest is the highest peak in the world. Compared to Everest, Mount Kailash is only about 1/6 of its size, yet no one has ever been able to reach its summit. The magnetic energy there is so intensely powerful that it is simply impossible to scale the mountain. It is believed that Lord Shiva resides there even today, and that Mount Kailash is the true center of the earth. The entire earth revolves around this very center. The majesty of Mount Kailash is truly immense. Even if you are simply standing at its base, you will still be able to feel its powerful magnetic vibrations. Just a short distance from there lies Lake Mansarovar. The waters of this lake are incredibly sacred. It may surprise you to know that while the water of Lake Mansarovar is fresh and drinkable, barely 200 to 300 feet away lies another body of water that is as salty as the ocean. Why this is so is very difficult to explain, but it is undoubtedly one of the profound miracles of these holy pilgrimage sites. There is also a temple in India where complete arrangements are made every single night for the Lord to rest. A comfortable bed is carefully prepared, and afterward, the doors to the hall are closed. When the doors are opened the next morning, there are clear signs that the divine truly came and rested there. A very astonishing incident is said to have occurred. While I do not know how entirely true it is, the story goes that a tourist once visited from the West. He was told about the belief that the Lord comes to rest there at night. Refusing to believe it, he dismissed the entire thing as blind superstition. Because the temple hall was quite large, a strong curiosity awoke within him to see for himself whether this actually happened or not. One evening, he secretly hid in a corner of the hall, and the priests locked the doors and left for the night. The next morning, when the doors were opened, this man was found completely blind. He could neither see nor hear. This clearly shows that the supreme divine power truly manifested in that sacred space during the night, and from encountering that immense energy, the man lost his vision and his hearing. It is said that even today, he lives just outside the temple in a very solemn state. Water absorbs spiritual energy with great ease. It is impossible to describe the immense magnetic power present at the very source of the river Ganges. This is why the water of the Ganges never breeds bacteria and remains pure, never spoiling even after many years. People keep this sacred water in their homes for years, and at the time of passing, a few drops are gently placed into a person's mouth. To this day, no one truly understands the profound mystery behind this. Even human bones naturally dissolve in the sacred waters of the Ganges. Those suffering from skin diseases sit in its waters for hours, and their ailments are completely healed. Scientists have conducted extensive research to understand the miraculous properties of the Ganges water, but they have not yet been able to reach any definitive conclusions. At the sacred temple of Lord Jagannath in Puri, there is another deep mystery. No matter how strong the wind blows or what direction it comes from, the flag atop the temple always flies in one specific direction. No one has been able to comprehend the secret behind this phenomenon either. Inside the temple, the sacred food is cooked in several clay pots stacked one on top of the other. Mysteriously, the food in all of these stacked pots cooks perfectly, evenly, and at the exact same time, and it turns out to be incredibly delicious. This holy food is then lovingly distributed as prasad, sacred offering, to every single pilgrim who visits. Furthermore, it is deeply believed that the living divine souls of the deities truly reside within the wooden idols of Balram and Subhadra. which are traditionally renewed every 2 years. When the sacred temples of Badrinath and Kedarnath are closed for 6 months, a gentle lamp is lit inside them. Amazingly, when the temple doors are opened after 6 long months, the flame is found burning exactly as it was left half a year prior. In Madhya Pradesh, there is a temple where the sacred idol of the Lord gently grows a little bit every single year. It was originally just 1 foot tall, and now it has grown to about 3 feet. It is impossible to explain the profound mystery behind this. All of these miracles happen because of the powerful magnetic and subtle energies present within true spiritual power, the divine energy of the Lord, the Supreme Creator, Brahman. Similarly, there is a massive shivling of Lord Shiva in Madhya Pradesh that also continues to slowly grow over time. Every few years, the roof of the temple even has to be raised higher so that the sacred shivling remains fully protected from the rain. You might be very surprised to learn that when the Kapal Kriya, the final cremation rite involving the skull, is performed on a deceased person's body, subtle electrical and magnetic waves are released from it. This is precisely why it is considered absolutely essential for everyone to take a full bath after returning from the cremation ground, ensuring that these magnetic or polarizing effects do not linger on their own body. Kashi is the most ancient spiritual city in the world, and it is deeply believed that anyone who breathes their last in Kashi attains ultimate spiritual liberation. While it is difficult to say to what extent this is literally true, it remains a profoundly held faith. Even if you are unable to physically visit these holy places, if you slowly nurture and awaken your own inner consciousness, you will begin to feel this divine presence within yourself. Once this inner awareness has truly blossomed, if you then journey to a sacred site, you will experience direct, undeniable proof of the immense supreme power that resides there. You may also find that sometimes, even if you plan to visit a holy place for just a single day, you feel naturally compelled to stay for many days. This is the profound magnetic pull of the Divine Himself. This happens when your inner spiritual energy has awakened. The Lord then gently draws you in, seeking to bless you with even more spiritual strength and grace in one form or another. For example, if a crow comes and sits on an eagle's back, the eagle does not say anything to the crow, nor does it try to fight it off. The eagle simply starts flying higher. As the eagle soars higher and higher into the sky, the crow, unable to survive at such great altitudes, experiences a lack of oxygen and falls away all on its own. The profound message here is this: whatever worldly desires and negative emotions you carry within you, such as lust, anger, greed, and attachment, if you feel powerless against them, simply enter into a deep state of meditation. By elevating your consciousness, all these lower tendencies will fall away from you on their own, just like the crow. There is also a very beautiful and profound Sufi tale known as the journey of the simurgh. The story goes that a king of the birds, who was a bird himself, gathered a great flock together and addressed them. He asked, "For years, you simply gather seeds, eat, raise your families, and then eventually leave this world. Do you not wish to seek that supreme power for which you were truly born, so that you might evolve from the realm of birds and be born into a human life?" So, the story goes that 90% of the birds simply flew away upon hearing this. They had absolutely no interest in such matters. Barely 30 birds remained. Among them were many different kinds of birds, eagles, peacocks, and various other types of small birds. A deep desire had awakened within their hearts to attain a human birth and realize the divine. However, the king of the birds warned them, saying, "This is an incredibly difficult journey. You must only embark on this path if you have unshakable faith, true devotion, and the willingness to completely surrender to the Lord." Ultimately, 30 birds agreed to go. Setting off on this arduous journey, these birds soared into the vast depths and immense heights of the sky. As they flew further along their path, they had to face freezing, unbearable cold, crossing over towering, snow-covered mountains. Sadly, some of the birds even lost their lives during this perilous journey. Afterward, the surviving birds finally found a moment of respite, resting gently by the banks of a flowing waterfall. Once they had regained their strength, they took to the skies once again. This time, they flew so high that they entered a realm where there was no air at all. Because there was no air, they no longer needed their wings to fly, and the wings of some of the birds naturally fell away. As they journeyed through this breathless, empty void of the cosmos without their wings, they eventually reached a sacred destination. Upon arriving at this final resting place, a profound divine wisdom awakened within them. All the remaining birds became supremely enlightened beings. They began to live together in a state of beautiful, deeply loving brotherhood, realizing that in truth, they were all entirely one. As they continued to journey toward their next destination without their wings, some birds found themselves unable to travel in this state and sadly perished along the way. The few remaining birds that survived this leg of the journey eventually reached a sacred spring. There, they experienced a profound divine energy. And the very moment they immersed themselves in that water, their spiritual wisdom expanded immensely. By this point, only a very small flock remained. After flying further and arriving at yet another sacred body of water, a deep realization dawned upon them. They now had to leave their own individual consciousness behind. They understood that it is only by completely letting go of the individual self that one can truly merge with the Supreme Consciousness. However, bound by lingering pride and ego, some birds were unable to relinquish their sense of I. In the end, out of the entire flock, only 3 or 4 birds remained, those who had completely and unconditionally surrendered their individual consciousness to the divine. As soon as they arrived at the next sacred source, they experienced a profound realization: they had completely merged into the supreme divine consciousness. They were all one. Those remaining 3 birds understood that they had all originated from the exact same source. A revelation dawned upon them. There is absolutely no difference between us, these trees, and all the living beings of this world. Our soul and the soul of every single creature in the universe are one and the same. Having attained this supreme, ultimate wisdom, they achieved total liberation. They transformed into pure, radiant souls. Their spiritual evolution had reached such incredible heights that they could now choose to incarnate in the human realm, the animal realm, or even among the celestial deities, for they had become entirely free and liberated beings. The profound moral of this story, which the Sufi masters taught their disciples, is that the human journey is exactly the same. The spiritual path is akin to a soaring flight into the infinite sky. One should only embark upon this path if they possess unshakable faith and true devotion. Along this journey, you will inevitably face towering, icy mountains of hardship, and a stage will come where there is no air. You will have to learn to exist in that breathless void. It is only when you can dwell in this breathless state, symbolizing a state of deep, breathless meditation or samadhi, that true divine wisdom is attained. And once that ultimate wisdom is realized, you will finally arrive at your ultimate spiritual destination, the sacred Mansarovar, the pure lake of supreme consciousness. And upon arriving at that ultimate spiritual destination, the sacred Mansarovar, you will have to completely surrender all your accumulated knowledge. You must also relinquish your own individual consciousness. It is only when both your worldly wisdom and your sense of I have completely vanished that you can truly merge into the supreme consciousness. First, you will attain profound wisdom, but eventually, you must let go of even that wisdom. In time, the very individual consciousness that acquired this knowledge will dissolve on its own. In that ultimate state of surrender, you will become an embodiment of the Divine Himself. Only in that state will you attain the true knowledge of the entire cosmos. This is the ultimate wisdom of the Supreme Consciousness. Thus, through this beautiful allegory, the Sufi masters make it clear that the journey to the divine is not an easy one. It is equivalent to embarking on a grand pilgrimage across the vast, limitless sky of the spirit. This spiritual journey demands that you traverse through icy, treacherous terrains, much like the sacred physical sites of Kedarnath and Badrinath, and soar even higher, journeying into realms where there is no air, representing the breathless state of deep meditation. Only after passing through these trials will you finally discover the pure, pristine waters of ultimate truth. In those sacred waters, your knowledge will dissolve, your individual identity will vanish, and only then will you seamlessly merge with the Supreme Lord and attain true self-realization. Therefore, You can experience all of this while remaining in your own home, living a balanced and responsible life. With unwavering faith and devotion to the divine, you can enter the profound depths of meditation. As you descend into these spiritual depths, all your lower tendencies and worldly attachments will completely dissolve. You will attain absolute wisdom, and your individual soul will merge entirely into it. It is then that you will enter a state of ultimate emptiness, shunyata. This emptiness can be as profound as the deepest depths or as vast as the cosmic expanse. This very emptiness is the true divine abode. It is present in every single particle, in every atom. Emptiness itself is the purest form of the Lord. When you arrive at that most profound state of emptiness, there will remain absolutely no difference between you and the divine. You will become an embodiment of the Lord, attaining ultimate God realization. While visiting physical pilgrimage sites can provide you with a deep, tangible experience of this sacred energy, the true pilgrimage site actually exists within you. The ultimate holy shrine resides within your own Sahasrara, the thousand-petaled lotus at the crown of the head. If you can elevate your consciousness and firmly establish your awareness there, you will have completed the greatest pilgrimage of all. From that inner sanctum, you will attain everything. That is the ultimate subtle realm, the highest state of being in which you can fully immerse yourself and become completely one with the Supreme Creator. Thank you.